Welcome to another episode of The Route, where we talk about how to scale your pest control company faster. Today, I want to switch it up a little bit, and I want to talk about things I wish I knew before I started my company. It's been about 6 months since we were acquired, so it's kind of put me in this reflective, thoughtful mood or kind of position, and I just thought this might be helpful for owners who are out there, just kind of in the thick of it, in the grind. And summer season's right around the corner. This is when it gets really busy, can get stressful, and just things I wish I would have known starting out, and even during running my business, things I wish I would have known or learned sooner. But with where I'm at now, things I would just tell that person, and hopefully it's helpful to you too. If not, this will just be me kind of reflecting on my experience. So, number 1 out of 5. Number 1 is I would go back and tell myself, hey, it's all about the people. Sometimes you get too caught up in the service and the chemicals and the mix rates and the routes and the timeliness, but it really just comes down to the people. People you hire, people that believe in you, the customers that trust you with their time and their money. It's all about the people. And if you can focus on the people, everything else in your business will take care of itself. If you can give the customer a great experience, everything will be okay. They're gonna pay you. They're gonna leave reviews. They're gonna tell their friends about you. If you can give your employees a great experience and just trust them and love on them and invest in them and care about them and their families and pay them well and incentivize them and set them up for success, your business will grow and they'll do a great job. And so sometimes we focus on kind of that next step in the process. We want our business to grow, so we focus on business growth, but we miss the people in the middle. We miss taking care of our people. Or we're just focused on revenue and growing and getting more money. We miss the customer that's in the middle, that first step in the process. So if you can really just focus on the people, everything will happen the way it should. So looking back on my business and all the people that I had the chance to be acquainted with and hire and interview and serve and do their houses and spray and everything I did, it's really just a cool thing to look back, and so many cool people in the world, so many people you can learn from. Just because you own a business doesn't mean you know everything. Really trust your people, be willing to delegate and give them chances to shine and show you their skills. And then with customers too, it's a cool experience in pest control that you get to work so closely with so many different people and families and different people with careers and jobs and connections. And sometimes, I mean, hot summer days, you're doing 10, 15 houses a day and you just get so caught up in all that. Sometimes customers call in and they rip into you and they're mad at you and they leave 1-star reviews and you start to hate people in general, and it's puts you in a bad spot. But just taking a step back and remembering, at the end of the day, money will come and go, businesses will grow and they'll fail sometimes or start slowing down, but like all we have at the end of the day is people. So care about them, really invest in them. I never regretted taking time to care about an employee or taking the time to really put them first and put their needs first and go out of my way. Early on in my business, we didn't have an office space. It was just my apartment, and we had our garage there, a little storage spot, and sometimes my technicians needed chemicals late at night for the next morning. And they were going to start their routes at 7 a.m., and for one reason or another, they needed chemicals, and they lived 30 minutes away. And I just remember a couple of times, just, getting back from knocking doors, 9 p.m., 10 p.m., and just driving out and taking my technician some chemicals he needs for the next day and getting back at like 11 or midnight. But just having that time to just like serve them, and they do so much for us as owners. Taking them out to breakfast. I remember at the end of busy season 2, come like September, October, taking time to just take your guys out to breakfast, doing holiday gifts. We do Christmas gifts for our guys and connecting with them, just kind of slowing down, see how they're doing, see what they like doing, do company activities, do things they like, go to Topgolf, play basketball, just do fun things because they're people too. They've got worries, they've got families, they've got goals in their minds too. So if you're just seeing your technicians as people, you're missing out on so much of the experience of being an owner and so much of the value of having employees. And it's not just about having them run your business. It's more about connecting and being trusted to be in a position of having employees and them trusting you with their time and with their employment. And so really just Remember that and take it seriously and enjoy it because it doesn't last forever and you're lucky to have the employees you do. And even though they might frustrate you sometimes, or you might have guys you're like just on the verge of doing things with, of making a decision to fire or reprimand them, just remember, like, you're lucky. You're lucky as an owner. People are what it's about, and just try to center yourself on that every day. And if you do, your business will be just fine. Number two, cheap is expensive. What I mean by that is anytime I would try to go the cheap route, it would always cost me more. So anytime a customer would negotiate with me and get so cheap and whittle me down, and I'd bend over backwards to do their service for a really low price that I didn't want to do it for, it would always come back and haunt me. I'd always regret it. We'd always be doing extra reservices for that person. Their payments would be late. They might refer a friend who then ask for the same cheap price, ask us to stay so much longer at the house and do way more than we're planning on doing. So cheap is expensive. If you try to get a cheap chemical and try to save a ton of money and get like some secondhand, like off-brand chemical, it's going to cost you more in reservices, in cancellations, in customer complaints, in one-star reviews. Trying to save money on employees and paying them way less than they should and trying to get the cheapest employee, it's going to cost you way more in replacing that guy, in cleaning up that person's mess, in going back and talking to customers who had a bad experience with them. It's always, always, always best to pay a premium to get premium results. And it's hard to at first. A lot of times money's tight and you don't have those margins. So you need to be really smart where you do invest that money and how you do invest it. But anytime you're looking to spend or ready to spend or need to spend, be willing to spend on the things that you want results with. So with chemicals, with employees, with softwares, cheap is expensive. It's going to cost you way more than just paying for the more expensive thing. So with all the extra headaches it's going to give you, with all the extra time you spend fixing it or double checking it or whatever, always pay for the thing first. I never regretted paying for the more expensive, the more premium thing, but I always regretted going cheap. So make that part of your business. Remember that because it gets super enticing to just go with that cheaper option and save that money and think you can get the same results with that cheap thing, but cheap will always be more expensive than the expensive thing. Number three, track your numbers from day one. And here, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking more to my previous self because I cost myself so much money by not tracking it. And it is part of the process. Like no one teaches you that. No one shows you before you start a business how to do that. It's not something you learn in school. There's not really a learning process. They don't teach you that when you're getting your pesticide license. Like it's okay. And I give myself that space to grow, and I know it was part of my growth. And I do view that money that I lost or what I could have gained as kind of the tuition I paid to learn this lesson. So anytime you do have something like that where it's frustrating or you're mad at yourself and wow, I lost so much money or I learned this lesson, just give yourself that space to view it as tuition. But if I could go back, I would tell myself, hey, you need to sit down. You need to focus on your numbers. You need to address those head on. You need to get it out of the truck, get out of the field, get off the doors, come sit down and just look at the numbers. Every single morning, log into your QuickBooks, look at the numbers, look at the revenue, where the expenses at, where the bank account balance is at, where's all the money going, and then make decisions based on that. Because most times when you're not looking at numbers, you're avoiding reality. You're avoiding just the ugly truth of your business. And it can feel great going out and you have so many jobs you're doing and your technicians are busy and it feels like the company's growing, but if you sit down, it's going to tell you the truth. The numbers will not lie to you. So get super familiar with them. If you can't rattle off key numbers in your business right off the top of your head, you're not familiar enough with your business. So revenue, profit, cost of goods sold, gross margin, reservice percentage, cancel percentage, auto pay percentage. You should know those numbers quickly because you should be so just involved in and always checking those things. If you know your numbers, you will always make better decisions. Most of my bad decisions could have been avoided by knowing my numbers. Just knowing where the business is at. Knowing the truth about the customers and the revenue and the profit and the health of the business. So learn the numbers. It's going to be painful at first. It's going to be confusing. It's going to be just like, oh, you're like ripping your hair out trying to figure out what this even means, or it's like a whole different language to you. But slowly over time, it'll start to make more sense. And as you learn it, you have such an advantage over your previous self, but also over any competitor in your industry and in your market, because most owners don't know their numbers. And they make such rash decisions just based off feeling or just based off of what other people are doing. And when most people don't know their numbers and when most people are copying each other, it's a bad combo. So stand out from the rest. Don't compare yourself to other people. Don't try to model how other people run their businesses or the way they spend their money and the way they market, because they're doing it their own way. They may or may not know their numbers. But if you know your numbers, your finances, your P&Ls, your KPIs in your business, you will always make the best decision in your business. And there'll still be times when it ends up being the wrong decision, but it was the best one for where you were currently at. And you're going to learn and make an even better one going forward. So get super familiar. It's important. It's probably the most important thing you can do for your business, because that's the biggest reason for failure in small businesses is the finances, running out of capital, just being drowned out in debt and not being able to pay for things. So save yourself from all that headache and heartache. Know your numbers and make it a daily habit to check everything. Number 4, what I would tell myself is take action quickly. There's a lot of times when, as an owner, you really want to like just analyze something to the perfect extent and just know exactly how it's going to play out and find the best solution. And you just want to have full control of everything. And you want to just map out the future and make sure that it happens exactly how you think it should. But in all that processing and guessing and thinking and planning, you miss out on execution. You miss out on growth. You miss out on what would happen if you just took action. Because just think, if you had an idea day one and you take action day one, versus if you have an idea day one and you take all month to think about it, plan it, map it out, and then take action day 30, that's 30 days you missed out on. And even if day one you make that decision and it's wrong, now you have 29 days to make it right. And you can learn and develop and grow and gain more money and more profit or more skills or anything you need for whatever decision that is, that thinking and planning can't get you. So always take action quick. There was a lot of times in my business where I felt I should take action, but I wanted to feel even better. I wanted to feel perfectly before I made a decision. And there was a lot of times too where the initial feeling was the right feeling. The initial hunch I had to do something ended up being the right one, but because I waited a month or 2 months or longer, it put me in a really bad spot and made whatever it was even harder or more expensive or more painful because I waited longer and that issue grew bigger or more expensive or whatever it was. So take action quickly. If you feel like you should move on from an employee, do it now. If you feel like you should invest in a new software, do it now. If you feel like something is the right thing for your business, do it now. And all the times you're wrong will be totally not even, you can't even compare it to all the times that it'll be right and all the time you're going to save and all the learning you're going to have just by being really quick and taking action. So the people that really grow in business and in life are the ones that just take action, that are willing to be wrong. And that's what it comes down to is you need to be willing to be wrong and deal with the consequences of being wrong. Because by delaying action, you're what you really fear is actually just being wrong. So just don't be afraid to be wrong. Don't be afraid to look stupid. It's a good thing to have in your business is tell your employees like, hey, I'm planning on doing this thing. It may or may not be right, but for now it feels right, and so we're going to do it. And then maybe next week you show up to the meeting and say, hey, that decision wasn't right. I made the wrong decision, and we're going to fix it, and we're going to keep moving forward. And if you can develop that culture in your business, you can have employees who do the same thing, who will take action and not wait around for answers or wait for you to tell them to do something or wait for the perfect research or whatever. Like they'll be super actionable, taking action with other employees, with customers, with their truck, with maintenance. Like they'll be willing to do that thing, and they might be wrong. They might come to you, hey, I tried to do this, but it ended up being wrong. But then I fixed it, and that's the conversation you want to have, rather than like, hey boss, can you help me with this? I don't know how to do this. Can you help me with this? And you're like, hey, did you think about like what you should do? No, I thought you'd have the answer. Like, hey, why don't you try something? I don't know what to try. The way that you take action, the way that you just really jump into things will be seen and felt by your employees, and they'll do the same thing. So be quick with it. It's okay to be wrong. You'll be wrong a lot of times, but the time you save, the time that you'll be able to make it right, the money you save, the pain you save, just dealing with it head on, it's going to be best for you. Last thing, number 5, I would go back and tell myself it's all going to work out, because it is. And in your business right now, and I know in a lot of times in my business, there were so many times where you just are drowned out with so many customer complaints, or you don't know if it's going to work out. So many expenses are just piling up, and things are feeling scary. You're not hitting your goals, and you're not where you want to be, and you don't have much money in the bank, and you're not paying yourself very much right now, and you took a huge risk on starting this business, and it's like, oh wow, you see all your other friends who are 3 years down the road and just in a steady job and going on vacations and enjoying themselves, and you're like, wow, I could be there too. And just doubts just consume you. And as a business owner, as a business owner, you always have your business on your mind, and it's a feeling that you can't really explain, or even just people don't understand. People that work a 9 to 5, clock out at 5 and go home. Most of those people don't think about work when they're home. They're able to check out. They don't care how the business does. They don't care, if someone goes haywire while they're gone, or it doesn't matter if customers complain, like they're not there. It doesn't matter. But for you, it's always on your mind. And you might be laying in bed at 9 p.m. and a review comes in. You see a 1-star review, and you're just, so stressed out and thinking about the technician. Why do you do it that way? Is the customer going to cancel, and are you going to lose money? And will you be able to make ends meet? And all these thoughts will constantly be happening, and it's scary. But I would go back and just tell them, hey, it's all going to work out, because it will. If you take action and just keep moving forward, focus on the people, and know your numbers, everything's going to work out. It might not feel like it right now. It might feel scary, but that's the exact reason why so many people don't do it. And that's why so many people don't take that risk or don't take that leap, because it is scary. And that's the whole point of it is at the end of the day, it's about the growth you experience from it. And if it wasn't scary, if it wasn't hard, if it wasn't difficult, it wouldn't be worth it. But once you're on the other side of it, and once you do make it through that hard thing, you realize it was all worth it, because I'm a stronger person. I have more grit and determination, and more of a story to tell about how I got here, because it was hard and it was scary, but I kept going. So just know that it's always going to work out when jobs get slow, when randomly there's an influx in cancellations, when an employee just walks out on you one day and you have a full route to figure out, and no one in the pipeline to hire, when employees just backstab you, when customers complain about you, when payments don't come through, when your bank account's super low, when all those scary things happen. Just remember, it's always going to work out. It will always work if you keep working. So those are the 5 things I would tell myself. And just think back to myself a few years ago, and maybe one of these things is helpful for you, maybe where you are, and in the middle of growing a business and in the grind of the day-to-day and being an entrepreneur, being a business owner. It's not easy. It's scary. It's hard. It's fun. It's sad. It's every emotion you can think of, but focus on the people. Be willing to invest in the expensive thing. Track your numbers. Take action quickly, and everything will always work out in the end. So again, just a slightly different version of this podcast today. I just want to kind of give some of those thoughts. Really appreciate all of you who listen, who give feedback, leave reviews, refer other people to listen to this. Send this to someone who might need this. Send this to someone who might be building a business right now and in the middle of this, the hard, the ugly, the painful, and hopefully this is helpful for at least one person out there. So thank you for listening. That's a wrap for today, and we will see you on the next episode.